Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. Hope you like this video and subscribe. We're going to talk about WFAN again. Something happened during the game against the Rangers and the Astros. Max Scherzer did not pitch well. He pitched poorly again in a game that the Rangers could have taken a commanding 3-0 lead against the Astros. That did not happen. He pitched poorly. And I wanted to see on Twitter what WFAN radio host Sal Licata had to say about Scherzer. Well, something interesting happened. I got blocked. He blocked me, folks. He blocked me. I guess he's been watching these videos. Like I've been saying, he's been watching my videos. He must have been watching I knew he was watching my videos on the Baseball Hut. And he must have found out and gotten wind that I have a secondary channel and I goof on those dopes on the fan. And him primarily because he'd been going after Pete Alonso. He'd said that Pete was a part of a toxic clubhouse. He and guys like Sean Marash, who is his ability to speak and talk in a logical sense it's no wonder why he's bald. His whole hair jumped out of his head. But Marash had said, just to give you an idea, when Sal was on vacation, Marash said that the reason why Pete was such a toxic individual in the Met clubhouse is because he was going to be a free agent. Well, if that were the case, then there'd be plenty of teams that would be fighting with each other if players were going to be a free agent at the end of the year. That was the fans' take on it. Now, there was an article that came out in September, and this was a big controversy here in New York, that Pete Alonso was a toxic individual in the Met clubhouse, that he was causing all kinds of problems within the Mets clubhouse. Now, there's been no stories that have come out about Pete being a quote-unquote toxic individual. Now Sal Licata said that when he was confronted, well, let me go back. So back in August, when things were obviously they moved all these pieces, Sal came on the air on his WFAN program that he just got, this mid-morning show that he has with another bald guy, Brandon Tierney, and he had said that Pete was part of this clubhouse, and the inference was that he was the toxic person. And since the Mets were going to have a difficult time moving Lindor, moving Nimmo, that he was a guy that could be traded. But the inference was that he was a toxic presence. A lot of people in Major League Baseball came out in support of in support of Pete. John Heyman, Ron Darling, David Cohn, Keith Hernandez. The Met broadcasters came out in support. The media, all the writers came out in support of Pete. So about a month later, this is September, when Sal was on vacation, he came back, he didn't speak anything of. But then this Tommy Pham article came out saying that there were people in the Met clubhouse that weren't hard workers. He said in the article that guys like Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, and Francisco Lindor were guys that he respected, but there were guys in the Met clubhouse that were lazy. He said that Tommy Pham said they were lazy. So right off the bat, Sal said that was proof that he was right about Pete, and that Pete was a problem, but he ignored this whole story, that part of the story that Tommy said that he respected Pete. All right. About a week or two after that, he had John Heyman on his program talking about Major League Baseball, and Heyman called him out, saying that Pete was a good guy. Sal backtracked, but he didn't apologize to Pete. He apologized to John Heyman. There's been no official apology from that radio station. And this has been going on for 2 months, folks. 2 months. Now, I've been doing all kinds of videos sort of goofing on them here, goofing them on the Football Hut. They're very entertaining to make fun of. You know. But it's another thing, because they contradict themselves. And then Sal is like, in one regard, Pete's toxic, but you got to sign him. Pete's toxic, but I want him on the Mets. You can't have it both ways. Now, he has a program, Sal. Sal has a program on SNY, which is the Mets Network. And he doesn't even mention this sort of toxicity of Pete Alonso. Never mentions it, never brings it up. because he knows that audience will jump on him faster than you can imagine. With the Fan, that is an anti-Met radio station, and it doesn't matter if they're a Met fan host. It doesn't matter. Okay, they have a narrative that they have to conclude that when the Mets, whatever the Mets do is bad. The Mets are run poorly. That's why they can. That's why the morning nut job, Greg Giannotti, says that the Mets are a nightmare under Steve Cohen. That's the mantra. And when the Mets do the right thing, it's the wrong thing. If they do everything right, it has to be wrong, because that's the narrative, and they go with it no matter what. Now Pete is going to be a free agent. I believe he's going to stay here for the entirety of the 2024 season. They'll let the contract run out, and then the Mets will negotiate with him. I think they want him back. I think he wants to stay here, but he's going to take it to free agency. Okay. Now, Sal, again, did not apologize to Pete Alonso. The radio station has not apologized to Pete, which I think is terrible. They think that people aren't going to pay attention. I pay attention. Now, I don't listen to the Fan that much anymore, because they're all a bunch of lightweights, every single one of them. Every single one of them. The one guy that wasn't a lightweight was Craig Carton. I wonder why. It's probably a big reason why he left. So he didn't want to deal with that insanity there. Now, I've been sort of very critical of Sal. Now, Sal has blocked your host. And now I'm going to watch him even more than I did before, to be honest with you, and see how inconsistent he continues to be. He is a guy that's been sort of, it's taken him a long time to get where he is, just to do this mid-morning show, because he's been around the Fan for 20 years. Now, he said that a couple weeks ago that he knows what's going on in the Met Clubhouse. He's like, I've been around Met Clubhouses for 20 years. Okay, but you're the only one saying that Pete is toxic. So obviously, he's gotten wind of these videos on this little channel. I got 1,300 subscribers here, and 4,000 on the other channel. Okay, he makes more money during a day than I could, and I made probably in a month or 2 months here, on both sides. And he is so thin-skinned that he has to block your host, which I thought was funny, and I hope you think it's funny. That is an example of him spazzing out. He couldn't take a little criticism, and he spazzed out. Which brings me to this. With all the criticism that Pete has taken from that radio station, if Pete was on Twitter and he blocked Sal Licata, every host on that radio station would go apeshit on Pete, saying that that's an example of his toxicity, that Sal was right. But if a YouTuber like myself that has a very little following does little videos, maybe 5-10 minute videos, critiquing their behavior on the fan, then what does Sal do? He blocks your host. Now, I was more interested in this thing on Scherzer, to be honest with you, because I wanted to see his take on it, because he's been sort of happy that Scherzer has pitched poorly for the Rangers, and I have too. But grow a bit of a backbone, man. I mean, take the criticism. If it was an athlete and they did that to one of these numbskulls on the fan, then they would have like a whole week of shows. They'd be going on and on and on and on and on about this. Every color and stripe on that channel, on that radio station, would be complaining about, say, for instance, Pete Alonso. So I'm going to do this video, and I'm going to get. I knew that Sal was watching the show. I knew that, just based on some of the things he'd been saying, because I was really the first that said that the Mets were a bunch of losers, and then he came out and said that. But again, they can take it, they can dish it out, but they can't take it. And he's obviously, and I've heard this, people wrote to me and said, oh, he's going to block it at some point. You better lay off him because he's going to block it. Okay, it's no big deal to me. Because the only good thing about me goofing on them and goofing on them is I make money off of them. They make money. Think about it, folks. They make money saying stupid shit like Pete Alonso's toxic, that David Stern should be fired after 4 days of being on the job, that the Met tenure of Steve Cohen has been a total nightmare, even though in the second season they won 101 games, and that same person's, well, that doesn't matter, it didn't happen. I mean, complete total insanity. So they monetize that insanity. But a 10-minute video, whatever length of video I do on them, I gotta get blocked. I hope more of them block me. I really do. I really do. I'm trying to figure who would be the next to block me. I think Boomer, I think. He'll leave in the comment section who you think will block me next. I will monetize their insanity now. And that's what I learned from the old days in the other channel. But you monetize people that don't like it. That's how you make money on this that's how this platform is. That's just how it is here. So if you like this video, subscribe. Also send me a super thanks. I do take super thanks. I'm not doing any live streams right now. Everything's up in the air about the live streams. So if you like my channel and I haven't done a live stream, hit that super thanks, the little heart with the dollar sign in it. That'll help me out. That'd be great, folks. That'd be a sort of middle finger to the Sal for blocking your host. And like I said, he's not the first. He's not the first MLB person. Radio personality, sports personality to block me. He's the second, actually. The first, Andy Martino. People don't like him either, amazingly enough. And they do work together. They are co-workers. So they both don't like your host. But that's okay. I don't really care for them myself because they're fake. They're completely, totally, 100% fake, all of them. So let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.